Hello everyone and welcome to today's stream. We are going to be kicking things off with a little FNM at home today. They're running a little format called Mastermind. Thanks for joining me here. I am at MTG 2020, otherwise known as Brian here. We are going over some kooky FNM today. Yeah, so this Mastermind, it looks very similar to an old format by the name of Momir, but in a different way. It basically, you start off with an emblem here that you can discard cards to make land, as opposed to having land in the deck. The deck is a 200 card deck, and then it's basically 5 colors and all sorts of zaniness, and yeah, this one's gonna be a little bit weird. Plan for today is to hit up some of this for a little while, switch over, do an Amonkhet draft, and then finish things out on the standard ladder. So, after looking at some of the weirdness that's in here, let's go ahead and give it a try. So for standard, I'm going back to the Abzan list. I have been tweaking with it a bit. Really still enjoying playing it. That's half the reason I'm spending so much time with it. It's powerful. It has pretty good matchups against some of the top decks. You can get a little bit land flooded. It's one of the main problems I've been finding. Ooh, Gutter Snipe, Finishing Blow, Sprite Dragon. Okay, so we might be playing a sorcery style deck here. So we are going to go ahead and activate the Mastermind. Okay, that's how you do that. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to set up and go Sprite Dragon into Gutter Snipe and then play the blue-red spells kind of deck. Nice thing is these tokens that it creates do add 1 mana of any color. The Ozolith, okay. Now, something like Momir Vig, you have to generally take a turn off when creating your mana, just because you're not going to be drawing enough cards. I don't know about the card pool with this one, but most likely since we went first, we're probably going to have to take 2 turns off from playing spells. So next turn, we'll probably play the Gutter Snipe, and then after that, we'll probably wait until we have to actually answer something. Your top-end threats in this 200 card pool are going to be at 7 mana, so you need to take into account for that. If you are on the draw, you don't have to worry quite as much about that. Okay, that might actually just be changing how we're playing. So we're going to take this turn off from playing something. So as I said, I think it's most important to be able to cast those big expensive spells every turn. But this is just going off my experience playing Momir as opposed to this, so this could be totally different. Ooh, so, just like Momir, my guess is Mana Dorks are really good. So I think we're going to Faith Fetters that, just to be safe. That basically ramps them ahead a turn that we can't afford. Plus it has lifelink and death touch, so it's just kind of annoying. Faith's Fetters is a old favorite of mine. Really glad they brought it back. Haven't played it in many formats. We don't have a lot in our hand right now either that's incredibly great. Ooh. Wonder if Proliferate is going to end up doing anything in this. Not really sure what a lot of the synergies are here. There's definitely a +1/+1 counter synergy going on. There's definitely a Spellslinger synergy. It looks like there might randomly be a food synergy in here. Huh. Okay, I see what they're going to do here. They're probably going to sack this to give the Prowler protection from white. Make the enchantment fall off. Okay, so our opponent has decided they want to go wide. So I think that opens us up to be able to play some bigger things here. So we're going to go ahead and discard there. Set up this Arlen.
Friend, I'm man's worst enemy. Please protect my pack.
And as I said, once we're at 7 mana, we're not going to worry about wasting any more things on mana. This is just fine because this Arlen is pretty much primarily fodder anyway. So we're okay with these kind of trade-offs because our opponent is being too aggressive. They're using all their resources early. So if we can get ahead on the resource game, start dropping some bombs. It's interesting. Yep, that is just fine. Need to get rid of that thing anyway. So we're probably going to depose here just because it replaces itself, so we're not actually losing a card advantage. Stop ourselves from taking the hit. Turn into a pumpkin. Cards that I've not seen since draft. Oh yeah, I always forget about the non-derp. Always forget about the non-mana abilities clause on that one, so it doesn't actually shut off for when I wanted it to. So don't mind me, I'm just talking. Half the things I say will be incorrect. That's just the way of life. Yeah, we're definitely going to be finishing below this makeshift on the next turn. Ooh. Disenchant I think we need to hold on to. It's really tempting to hit the thing that's proliferating, but only one thing right now is being proliferated. Gonna go ahead and get our 7th out there. And then we are just gonna finishing blow. And it's pretty much all gravy from here as far as our resources go. This Visionary is good because it draws us a card. Basically anything that says draw a card is good in something like this. Okay, so Hamlet back. Do we have to use our removal on this instead? No, I think we'll be okay. We are going to disenchant though. Otherwise this Hamlet back is going to get a little bit too out of control. Yep, that Hamlet back is really annoying. Maybe we should just kill that instead, but I have faith we'll find more removal. Speak of the devil. That is more removal. Yeah, so it definitely looks like there's a heavy counters theme. Ooh, Shalai is really good for future turns. So I think this next turn we're just going to take a hefty hit. If he wants to kill this Visionary, that's fine. Gutter Snipe does change the math a little bit, so maybe we don't just take this 10. Okay, that changes things a little. That changes things ever so slightly. Thank you. Yes, please. So one unfortunate thing, he does have 2 Death Touchers, which is vaguely annoying. But that's okay. We are going to play out this Shalai just to protect things. Ooh, that's actually very, very good. So between this Shalai and this Feat of Resistance, we can actually attack in, give this protection if we want. Yeah. So I'll get rid of one of the Death Touchers at least. And then we can Wandering Strike the other Death Toucher next turn, or if he plays a bigger threat. Nice thing is, unless he finds a Wrath type effect... Ooh, Primeval Bounty is a fun card. Unless he finds a Wrath type effect, he's going to have a hard time getting rid of this Hamlet back. I don't know why you're attacking with that. There you go. Oh, it's a Ferocious Puppers. We need some trample. We need some trample real bad. Man, look at how ferocious that Puppers is. So, he just probably drew a little bit of high-cost removal. Could just be some other random high-cost card, too, but my guess is maybe removal. We're just going to keep doing what we're doing. Force him to throw the 1/1 in front of it. Oh, no? That's a weird choice. Now, what might be slightly disastrous is if he finds a way to disenchant. So if he finds a way to disenchant, then we got a big scary 25-25 coming at us. Just pass this thing back and forth like a hot potato. Okay. So I found a way to get rid of the Shalai. That is part one of his plan. We can give it flying. Well, guess that's what we're doing there. GG opponent. So this is definitely a different take than Momir. I think I prefer Momir better so far, simply because of the fact that once you hit that higher mana availability, you really start hitting some nice things when you can say, okay, every turn I'm going to hit a 7-drop, or every turn I'm going to hit an 8-drop. 8 drops, of course, being where you get the most bang for your buck in that format. That and 7's a little bit scary because you can hit into a phage, which just kills you. But it's kind of hilarious when that happens, so it's worth it. Alright, so we got some good top-end things. This is going to be our bomb. It's weird to say that, but this is totally the bomb that we need. Aw, want to play with that hand. Sadly, our opponent just did not want to let us play. Try that again. Alright, Lightning Strike, Innocent Blood. We have a Planeswalker and another Planeswalker. Yeah, this hand seems interesting. Not really sure what I want to get rid of here. I kind of want to keep this top-end stuff. The Machias is good over the long term. I'm honestly not sure that the rewind is going to do anything for us. When it comes down to top deck wars, it doesn't really matter so much for counter spells. This Harvester is really, really good. Oh, okay. Do we care about beats? He's going full aggro. I think we play the Machias and then follow it up with another counter. We could just Innocent Blood to kill it right away, but we're going to take 2 damage and then pump the Machias, and we'll have a decent blocker going forward. In this game, we guaranteed want to get to 6 mana. Yeah, this is so strange because to say Jace Ingenious Mind Mage is actually like a bomb is kind of crazy. This card's normally terrible, but anything that says draw card seems like a bomb. Anything that just gives you constant card advantage to, like this Arlen. Yeah, you're only getting some 2/2s or 3/3s, but it seems real good. Alright, we're going to have to figure out how to deal with a flyer here. Because that being a flyer could definitely be an issue. Alright, so I really didn't want to have to use that rewind, but we'll take it. 1 threat down. We could just use this Innocent Blood next turn to get rid of his flyer. Oh, interesting. He actually wasted more resources to get rid of that Machias. Well, we're probably just going to Innocent Blood this next turn then. Yeah, Disfigure won't work. So we're up to 5. Next turn, we really get to start popping off a little bit here. This next turn, we get to just start landing threat after threat after threat. Good chance we're going to discard this Arlen, just because it is the worst out of the 3 by far. Oh, there's another flyer. By playing this Jace, we'll force him to attack the Jace. Or we could just Deafening Clarion, too. So for now, we're going to play out the Jace. We're going to see if he wants to play something else out, and then we'll probably Clarion next turn. Or we can Finishing Blow. We just have all of the answers. Man, this is an intro deck Planeswalker if I ever saw one. Okay. That's a good answer to that. That's fine, though. Our opponent is still behind. That's what we really care about. We get to play this Harvester. Next turn, we can definitely Clarion, gain some life off it also. This Wildborn Preserver does block, but I think we want to just be at 7 here. I could just hold it off till next turn and figure out the next thing I draw is worse, but, you know, we're playing fast and loose. These things are fine. Oh, he had a JS2. Interesting. Get my own Drana. Yeah, this Harvester of Souls might just end up taking over this game for us. Do we care about this? No, we don't really care about this. Probably play one more game of this and then switch over to some Amonkhet. Might do too. Depends. It's been an interesting little diversion. Aw. Sad days. There goes my extra card draw. Those are quite possibly the strangest looking bananas I've ever seen. They look like ram's horns. Or corkscrews going on. Oh, you didn't want to return the Bone Crusher? Sad days. Not wonderful right now, but... yeah, our opponent is going to have a very hard time coming back from this. Phoenix is definitely not going to be it. Toronto has first strike too, which just makes that much better. Oh, okay. It's an odd attack you got there, bud. Just for the insult to injury. Okay. Could have snuck a little bit more damage in there, but it wouldn't be that much more. And that is GG. I would say we've gotten a little bit lucky so far. Also, our opponents have been making some interesting choices, but then again, people are probably just exploring this format. Who knows, it could be their first games also. I do really like that Wizards has been doing with their FNM at home. They've been doing a rotating format, pretty much 0 barrier to entry, and having some kind of fun new things here and there. Alright, so we got a Shark Typhoon, which is really good. The rest of this hand, though, for the most part, we could kind of give it or take. We could attempt to play an aggro hand. Ooh, Embalm is kind of nice because we can get that back regardless. Yeah, we could attempt to play this kind of aggro. We could get screwed, but we're on the draw, so that kind of helps our decision a little bit. Oh, I totally forgot that Serendib was brought back in that latest set, in Jumpstart. Alright, so our opponent kind of is asking us to play aggro and match them. So we're going to do just that. Playing one very good puppers. Do you want to use a removal spell? Yeah, so this Shark Typhoon is probably not going to come into play this game. We might cycle it, just because it nets us a card, or is card neutral. Basically, we don't want to be doing anything that is going to be getting us less than card neutral. Interesting. Not really sure why my opponent's playing out Curious Pair. The other opponent did that also. It's not a good card. So the battalion here incentivizes us to attack next turn. Probably going to attack. There's a good chance we lose one or the other of these, but then we're most likely going to be able to play this afterward. The Indulging Patrician is not quite where we want to be. We've already been getting rid of some of our life gain stuff. We want to get up to this guy. Don't think we want to get rid of the Faith Fetters yet, just in case. The nice thing is, because our opponent has been being fairly aggressive, they were on the play, so they're down a card to begin with, and the fact that they're playing cards like this, as opposed to just saving it, means that we should be able to get at least ahead of them on the mana curve when the time counts. Ooh, Caravec's actually pretty good. Except for it does give his stuff neg also. But I think it is very tempting to play this Prison Realm. Get rid of the Caravec, smash in, yeah. So this Patrician is definitely beyond its happy days here. This also lets us scry, figure out what's on top. Not really great. But at the same time, it gives us something to discard without having to worry. So I think we're going to go ahead and keep that on top. So we are going to be losing something to the Zerta. Is it worth it? No, not yet. We're going to play patient. Because next turn we can Faith's Fetters the Zerta and then get in a good attack. Or play him. And it looks like our opponent is taking the turn off. So yeah, that's fine. They're realizing that the aggro plan isn't going to work so well. Question being, do we just play this, or do we play it for the spectacle? Do we Faith's Fetters the Zerta? Yes. Let's see if he has any response to this. There's a good chance that he has a pump spell in hand too. Which makes the Soul Scar Mage slightly awkward. Alright, it is time to see if we made mistakes or not. Do we have any combat tricks, opponent? That we do. Okay, so he's gonna eat 2 of my things. And that is what we get for being overly aggressive. But, you know, it's okay. Not the end of the world. We're at 24 life. We are ahead on mana. See what he does here. If he plays anything or not. Ooh, Hour of Devastation is real fun. So, I'm going to get in and I'm going to go Spectacle here. He's looking at that Faith's Fetters. Maybe he has a Disenchant. If he has a Disenchant, that's fine. I think we might just follow up with the Hour of Devastation. Otherwise, I'll play out this Blade Juggler because, as I said, we kind of want things that are card neutral. And then depending on what we draw here, we're probably going to just get rid of it to make some mana. Ooh, Glorious Anthem. Eh. And we're actually just going to hold on to it. We might be topping out at 5 or possibly 6 this game. Just with the way things are looking. Haven't been getting nearly the amount of card draw kind of things that we want. But that's fine. We can always let him overextend a little bit and then play out this Hour of Devastation. That will deal with most things coming out. Gets rid of our board, which is kind of annoying, but isn't the end of the world. And then we get to embalm this thing. Which a 2-3 for 4 is not exactly great, but it's better than having nothing. We got a Durgan. Yeah, I think what we're going to do here is we're just going to block and then we're going to Hour. So that dragon is big enough under threat. We could play it slow and go one more turn though. So we take 4, we block here, and then we Hour the next thing. Yeah, I think we're okay with that. Because ideally, if we're getting like a 4 for 1 with this Hour of Devastation, then totally worth it. If he plays out a Planeswalker too, being able to hit that, also totally worth it. He's thinking about getting rid of my Labyrinth Guardian to push through more damage. Ooh, Commence the Endgame is real good. So, they didn't play out another thing. Yeah, we're just going to stick with the initial plan here. They could have a counterspell too, randomly. Which they're holding up, so who knows? They have some sort of interaction. There's something there. Could be another pump spell too, which could save the Varix. No. Okay, so we're just going to keep setting up for future turns. This Commence the Endgame is really good. We get to make at least a 4/4 during his turn next turn. Ooh. That is actually terrifying. Huh. That is, we need to find an answer, and we need to find it very quick. So we can throw the Wicked Wolf in front of it. The problem is it has trample. Yeah, so we're just going to throw in a mass token in front of it. Hopefully not die, and hopefully draw into an answer. Hornet Queen. Oh, this is my first time seeing that new art from the Amonkhet Remastered. That's actually really, really good art. I think I might like that better than the original. So that presents us a new problem entirely. Kind of wishing I had that Hour of Devastation again. So, unfortunately, I don't think we have answers here. Yes, I do not believe we have any answers here. Let's really quickly check with one more card being drawn. Okay, that's good, but a little bit not good enough. We have anything in here that we can take? Nothing there. Yeah, our Dire Fleet's not going to do enough, so that is a good game. Alright, well, we have collected our reward there, so we're going to go ahead and throw it over to a quick draft. Haven't played very much of Amonkhet Remastered yet. What I have, I've noticed it's pretty darn aggro. There are definitely some real good bombs. They're hard to deal with. Of course, the gods. If you get a god, there's a good chance that you're doing fairly well. But otherwise, fairly low to the ground aggro decks are pretty good. Anything with red or white. Green is okay for aggro too. Black is a little bit more mid-range. The cycling deck is okay if you get the right cards. There are definitely more sweepers than there were initially in Amonkhet, with Wrath of God in there and Anger of the Gods and some of those others. Ooh, Torment. Okay, so Torment just means we win in the late game. I'm not really sure if we want to be in black, though. So Vile Manifestation, if that tables around, is a really good card for the cycling deck. Oketra's Monument is very, very good for the go wide deck. Splendid Agony. So there's some good black cards in this pack. I think we're going to take the Torment just because it is a bomb. If we get to that late game stage, it pretty much says, hey, our opponent's dead. Ominous Sphinx is really, really good. That's definitely a big old 4/4 flying bomb. I think we might start taking cards and go for the cycling deck. Cycling deck is not one that's drafted heavily, so it's a little bit safer. People definitely tend to draft aggro or the zombies deck over the cycling deck. Ooh, that is another good card for the cycling deck. Lay Claim, you basically just take their best thing. It's not as good if you're going against the low to the ground deck, but still pretty good. It's also about the best answer to any of the gods. Nice thing about the cycling deck too is because of the inherent built-in cycling portion, you're a little bit less likely to flood. Cycling is one of those evergreen mechanics that is just one of the absolute best. It does everything you need it to. It kind of fixes your draws a little bit. It draws you a card when you don't need a card. The cards are pretty much never dead. Oh, yes, we are getting the cycling payoffs, so we chose very wisely. Shadow Storm can get very big very fast in the cycling deck. This Torment of Hailfire is just going to be funny if we ever get to actually have it work. I mean, hell, even if X is only like 3 for 5 mana, having that effect, sure. Definitely a favorite finisher in mini and EDH deck. Alright, what do we have here? Looks like nothing for the cycling deck here. Slitherblade is not terrible. Naga Oracle is okay. Reduce is just a counterspell for us. Compulsory Rest is an okay form of pacifism, but we're not going to be going into white at this point. Blighted Bat's okay. It's a 2/1 haster flyer. Tempted to take the Greater Sandworm just to have another cycler, because we're just going to cycle that through. So you really do kind of want... You want as many cycling things as possible. Hieroglyphics is really, really good. Wasteland Scorpion's okay. Good chance that comes back, but we're going to take the Hieroglyphic. That is nice because it actually enables some of your other really good things. The Unburdened, we're very likely to pick up several of those later pretty easily, so we're going to go ahead and take the Seer. Rebuke is just good. Yet again, we don't really care if we're playing off-color cyclers just because they cycle. Because for every cycle payoff we can find, like the Vizier, or the Sphinx, or the Horror of the Broken Lands, there's a chance we go 3-color too, because we could go green. Beneath the Sands will ramp us into that Torment. Sadly, somebody else has been cutting off the black. And they did take our good cycler from the very beginning. Another Seeker. Seeker is okay. It's not as good as Seer. The Camel is good in the right deck, but in this case we're just going to take the Biforce. So, some of our cycling payoffs have kind of dried up a little bit. But that's fine, it's early. If we can get another Shadowstorm Vizier. And as I said, the Horrors are going to be pretty big. That's a card we're definitely going to be taking fairly highly. Because yes, they are a little bit more expensive at 5 mana, but they can close things out pretty quickly. Ooh, okay, a Nickel B. Nickel B is our friend. Do we attempt to try to go toward that color combo? We could. No reason not to. I mean, it's really good. So that's another decent cycling payoff. It's not the best. Desert Ceradon, there's a good chance that comes around again later. Sheffet Monitor is another good cycling card if you have some deserts. I think we're just going to take the Nickel B, though. We might kind of open up and try and play a little bit of red in here as a result. Just because it is so good. Yeah, if God Pharaoh stays around for a turn or two, it's pretty much GG. All right, one of my all-time favorite secondary win cons, Approach of the Second Sun. It's just a hilarious card. Have anything good from the cycling stuff here? Probably going to be taking that. So this card, as I've mentioned previously in Amanatu, is just hilarious when playing EDH. So usually you cast it and then you can go find it right away and cast it again. Yeah, we're just going to take the Hieroglyphic. It's the best card here. Instant Sorcery. There's another Hieroglyphic. Drake, because we need some creatures. Drake is not a great one, but we need the creatures at this point. Shatterstorm is one of the interesting additions to Amonkhet Remastered. Definitely not in the original. It's a fun card. Not really sure if it'll ever really be played, unless somehow, I don't know, Affinity is brought into the client and becomes a thing. So, Striped Riverwinder's okay. I think we're going to take the fixing, though, here. Chef at Monitor to go 3-color, and then we could fix that way. Yeah, let's be super greedy. We're going to go 4-color. This is going to be a 4-color cycling deck. Okay, so, not a great card. Rumnap Ruins, of course, had to be banned in its time and standard. So that tells you how powerful that card is. The Mummies are okay. Trespasser's Curse, it's good if you have multiples. We're on the wrong color scheme for that, though, so we're going to go ahead and take this Aerial Guide. This is going to be a really weird deck, I can tell you that much. Ooh, that is a late cartouche. This is one of the best cards that you can get for a green common. By far. Counterspell's not terrible. Yeah, I mean, we are kind of looking like green at the moment, but the cartouche is not going to do really what we want to be doing. So these guys are actually halfway decent. You exert to add 2. It's a 2/4 body. So we're going to be looking at green-blue splash for the others. Probably not playing this Torment because it has too high of a cost on that at this point. Kefnet's Monument's okay. Not the best thing in the world. We do like the Feral Prowler. It's a good blocker. It replaces itself. Gives us a chance to grab another Sandworm. Destroying target artifact isn't the biggest thing, especially not in best of ones. So right now we're just kind of getting rid of some chaff. So now we're hoping for some more. Ooh, Wrath of God. I think I might take that just for my collection. Vizier is okay. It's not... Ooh, okay. We got some deserts coming up later. Vizier is okay. It's not the best offensive creature. I mean, it attacks, but it gets blocked and killed by just about anything. So you pretty much have to have that cycle. I think we're just going to take the Wrath. Not sure how I feel about this art. This art is kind of weak sauce. Okay, Cast Out is a very good cycling card. We have more cartouches. And what else do we have? We have another cycler here, not really doing anything. Synchronized Strike is one of the better combat tricks. I've been blown out quite a few times in the past by that. In this case, though, I think we want the cartouche just because it is a removal spell. It's between that and Synchronized Strike, and I don't think we're playing enough creatures at the current moment to really get a ton out of Synchronized Strike. So, Stalwart, it's okay. It's definitely more for the aggressive deck. Lethal Sting is probably what we're going to be taking here, even though we don't have a ton of black. We could take the Floodwaters. It's another cycler. Yeah, we have not been getting the cycling payoffs, so somebody must have been cutting us off pretty early on that side, on that first deck. After I took the Torment and passed the other black 2-cost cycler, there's a good chance somebody said, oh hey, I'm going to start forcing cycling from the get-go. Do we take a Countervailing? We already have one. Yeah, sure. It's an annoying card. Thirst is okay. I don't really have any deserts at the current moment, so it's not as good as it could be. but it's decent removal. Okay, another Ritualist. We're fine with that. Ritualists are just going to help us color fix. Beneath the Sands, we're going to be taking there. Imminent Doom, this is a terrible card, but it's really, really hilarious. I remember people trying to make that work when Amonkhet was back in Standard. It just never got anywhere. Oracle, Claim to Fame is actually a very, very good card. It's seeing some play in Historic right now. Nothing good here. So we'll go ahead and take the bat. We're down to the chaff, so we're just happy to get anything at this point. Consigned to Oblivion's not terrible. It's a kind of bad unsummon. I mean, it hits a non-land permanent, which is slightly better, but strategic is fine. Alright, so we have a weird deck here. A ton of top end, which is nice. And ways to fix into it. So we don't mind playing all these other colors. So, we're going to ignore white entirely. Blue, Strategic Plan, Quenching Thirst, the Unsummon. Hellfire, because of the fact that we have these Ritualist, is actually halfway doable. Because being able to exert to add 2, I think makes that work. Definitely want that, definitely want that. Definitely want that. So, unfortunately, the Vizier is probably not going to be great. We're not going to be playing it early in any of the games. Consigned to Oblivion is okay. So, looking at what we have here. So Vizier is one of our payoff cards for all the cycling, but at the same time, we have not gotten the mana fixing to really make it work. And for the black mana, we're mainly playing it for the Nickel Bee here. We want the 1 mountain, that's fine. We're going to go down to 1 swamp 2. We're going to go ahead and cut the Vizier. We're going to be playing primarily islands and forests. Question is, what else do we want to cut out of here? So that's an okay blocker. It's not going to do a ton attacking. Aerial Guide is just okay. So we're going to end up cutting it. Consigned to Oblivion is not wonderful. Yeah, so we're gonna definitely rely on ramping and trying to get to our top end here. 40 cards, currently at 14 land. We want to be at 17 land, so we need to up that by 1, up that by 2. Let's go ahead and go that way. So that'll put us at 17 land. We are going to be a little bit land heavy, but we have plenty of big top end stuff to go into. Cartouche, well, normally it's really good. I don't think we have enough creatures to really make it worth it. At least not the kind of creatures we want that are going to be able to kill things pretty easily. Drake is okay. Strategic Plan's okay. This is probably going to be another one of my 41 card specials. I do like the Winds of Rebuke as early protection. We'll go ahead and cut a countervailing. Alright, so this is a weird deck. This is a really weird deck. We're going to see how this goes. It's probably going to be a disaster, but that's okay. It's half the fun. Alright, this hand is fine. It gets us to an early Greater Sandworm. And the 0-3 body on this guy is actually pretty relevant with how aggro this format can be sometimes. Yeah, because if we get to play this Ritualist on 4, we can play this Greater Sandworm on 5, which is pretty good. Now that's an aggro card, but thankfully it doesn't have anything else, so it's not great right now. We want to grab, for the time being, our black land. Nice thing about the Ritualist, too, is it just has a big butt. I mean, how often do you see a Mana Dork that's 2/4? I'm not even going to block that. Just because knowing if he attacks, there is almost guaranteed a trick of some sort in hand. And it's not worth it to lose this Ritualist and not be able to cast a Sandworm. Whereas, speaking of things with big butts, yep, pretty much had to use a removal spell on that. Well, that's not the greatest for us. It's not the end of the world. Now our countervailing winds is going to be able to kill something, or counter something unless they play 2, which is fine. We don't mind cycling this hieroglyphic at all. Okay, Cartouche. Yeah, I think this is worth it. We don't want the lifelink happening. And this still allows us to cycle this hieroglyphic if he attacks in. Otherwise, we're going to hold on to it and just play it for the card advantage. We are going to exert here, yep. Now the question becomes, do I double block here? I'm going to pass on the double block, just take the damage. Lay claim is pretty good. So the question is, do I just go ahead and lay claim on this exemplar? It's big, but it's not that big. I think we're just going to go ahead and wait another turn. Play a hieroglyphic sometime during this turn, and then lay claim to something next turn. Seems okay to me. Ooh, Cartouche. She's going to try and kill something. Yeah, that's fine. Let's see what he decides to try and fight here. Oh, he's fighting there. Interesting. Yep, that's fine. Alright, so that's just game, right? We got 3, so 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Torment for 8. If that's not just game, it's very, very close. Yeah, not quite, actually. I did screw up a little bit there on the calculation. So he's going to be able to keep his things. Unfortunately. With 3 cards in hand. And he has 7 coming across, so that's my bad. That's what I do for being overzealous and not actually counting things. Because who likes to math? Math is no fun. Good game, opponent. Yeah, so we should have just laid claim there and pulled back. Sometimes when you see the big splashy thing, you're just like, ooh, shiny, and you can't look away, and you make bad choices regardless. But the rest of the deck worked out pretty well, which I'm kind of surprised. Alright, time to make more bad choices. Thirst is so much better if we have any deserts, but really we just didn't see them for the most part. This hand we have Ritualist at the top end. If we don't draw mana, we can get desperate and cycle the countervailing. But we're seeing plenty of land here. Probably my favorite one drop in this set. Okay, so we're going to be trying to play the Nickel B game here. Our mana won't quite work for it yet, but we'll get there. Making me wish I'd played out the Ritualist last turn, but that's fine. Didn't know we were going to draw it. Outside of black and red, there's not a ton of Planeswalker removal here. So green-white might have a little bit of a hard time outside of combat dealing with it. Especially when it comes in the first turn and most likely ends up going up to 9. Just being able to steal something off top of their deck every single turn. It's kind of nuts. Okay, so we get to play out a Ritualist this turn, hold up the countervailing winds. Yeah, that's fine. That way, unless they get rid of one of these ritualists, it guarantees the Nicol Bolas is up. Also really tempted to play this Unquenching Thirst, tap down something, or have it tap down in the future, because we don't have any desert there. Because if we neg 4, kill off the Taw Crop, and still attack through with the other things, tap down something with the Fan Bearer, yeah, we are almost guaranteed just kind of +2. This could also be a turn where he tries to play something big, countervailing. He might have to use the Ritualist, which then we can Unquenchable Thirst that. Ooh, Ronus. Ronus is very good. And a Cartouche. Okay, that is not happening. So unfortunately we are exerted here, but it's not the end of the world. We can't afford to lose one of our Ritualists right now. And we are going to be able to Unquenchable Thirst, which is really nice. So we can go ahead and Thirst on here. Might make more sense to Thirst on there, but we're going to do that. We're going to be getting something with the Cultivator. And then next turn, playing the Nickelbee. Ronus is pretty good answer to the Nickelbee because it sets up ways to kill it pretty easily, which is unfortunate. Especially because he has plenty of mana. Nice thing is here, we're going to block the Ronus. And sack. And also we don't have to exert one of our guys next turn, so that's kind of big. Another really nice thing too is it does say another creature. So Ronus can't give himself the trample. Probably gonna see another pump here. So this Nicol Bolas, we're gonna really hope to hit something good off the top. If worse comes to worse, we can play out this Feral Prowler too. Do we want to exert that? We might exert that because then we can guarantee play out the Feral Prowler. So we're gonna go ahead and add 2 red.
No gods can protect you now. You came. A mind isn't easy.
Not the best. We really would rather have something to get rid of flyers here. On the plus side, at least we have the gum ground, or the ground gummed up. Ooh, cast out's real good. That is one way of dealing with it in white. That's for sure. Ooh, why did you not use that on the Ritualist? That was odd. Well, land is not what we want. So we're going to go ahead and exert here and try and draw a card. And we found another land. So we are setting up if we somehow top deck the, wow, the Torment of Hailfire. Try that again? Yeah, this Ronus has been kind of taken over. Huh, no blocks, okay. He's gonna be able to do some substantial damage this turn. Stalwart's coming across for 4, the Taj Crop's coming across for 3, the Dauntless Aven's coming across for 3, so it's 10, plus another pump for the Moronis. Yeah, we're just dead. So unfortunately, we can't block the Moronis Stalwart when it does its thing. Just tack through with it. He's not exerting, so that's the thing. Unfortunately, I think... Oh, no, there we go. We have some triggers. So if you had pumped beforehand, you could have attacked with the Ronus also, but he's just going to pump now. And, yep. Getting way too warm in this room. All right, let's run it back for loss number 3. Sometimes try and get too cute with your decks, you know? It's okay, because if we lose here, we'll try and redeem ourselves a little bit in Standard. This hand is not the best, but we're going to keep it. The Prowler's good early blocker. We have ways of cycling out. Yeah, we did this weird cycling deck without the cycling payoffs. We're seeing them in the first pack, and then they just completely dried up. So we turned into a strange ramp/cycling hybrid. Alright, Beneath the Sands is a pretty good one. We're going to find other blue lands. We're just going to go ahead and grab a black land here. Oh, and he's just killing the Sphinx. I was going to say, if we untap the Sphinx, we can make combat math kind of a nightmare for him, but he just killed it. I think we want to draw into some land here. There we go. Next turn, depending on what we draw, we can either play the Sandworm or we can cast this Floodwaters. We'll probably cast this Floodwaters. has not land, so we're going to go ahead and slow things down ever so slightly. And then probably play these two. So at this point, just having bodies out to block is kind of good. Question is, does our opponent want to discard any of the cards in their hand? It looks like they don't. Okay. So we'll go ahead and hold off on the hieroglyphic then. In this case, we're just going to play out this Drake. So the Menacer does become slightly annoying. Thresher Lizard is not nearly as scary. I think we are actually just going to go ahead and take the Menacer. We're just going to put up as big of a wall of creatures as we can. Currently, our opponent's trades are not very good. Oh, he's getting frisky. Well, he wants to turn those into something slightly bigger. Yep, he'll get a couple 2/2s. That card's not terrible, but we're just going to go ahead and keep throwing out giant bodies. Hello, Almost Perfect Fools. Thanks for joining us today. We're just hitting up a little Amonkhet draft. It's a real weird deck that's not been great, but, you know, that's half the fun of it sometimes. Started off kind of going for a cycling deck and then ended up turning into a hybrid cycling slash ramp deck, and yeah, it's not great, but it's fun. Just playing sandworms for days. Now because we have 2, we can start attacking. Pushing through a little bit of damage. Our opponent's not really drawing anything, so we're fine with this. Coming up after I'm done with this draft, I'm going to be heading over to the ladder for a little while, playing some Standard. Have an Abzan Ultimatum deck that I've really been liking. A lot of fun to play. So we're going to be trying that out. We are at pretty low Mythic right now. Go ahead and force him to use another turn here. Yeah, hitting Eerie Ultimatum just feels so good. It's probably the most fun thing you can be doing in Standard at the current moment, as far as I'm concerned. And there aren't a ton of decks playing just hard counterspells, so a lot of times it kind of goes off. So the deck I'm playing right now is super spicy because we randomly have a Torment of Hailfire and a Nicol Bolas God Pharaoh. And we have enough ways to actually be able to play it too. Speaking of the Torment of Hailfire, so I think we're going to set up for a next turn Torment. Just do real nasty things. We're not even going to attack. Possibly being able to Torment for 11, which will pretty much be game. As opposed to earlier when I said that, and it definitely wasn't game. Because, you know, math. Who wants to math? Okay, that can't block. That's fine. Feel free to attack me. Yeah, our Torment of Hailfire was the first pick in this draft. We're like, yeah, it's funny. Not really sure where we're going to go with it. We're starting to see some of the cycling payoffs pretty early, but then after pack 1, cycling payoffs pretty much dried out entirely. We got like a Vizier and one of the Sphinxes. We saw a couple other things, but they didn't get around the table. But we ended up keeping the Torment. Oh, does he have a Mass Pumper? It's a good chance our opponent has some form of Mass Pump spell. So in that case, we are going to be blocking accordingly. Or maybe he has a Giant Torment, but he doesn't have the second black mana? I'm not sure what they have. Okay. We don't want to block there, just in case. The Afflict is vaguely annoying. I always forget about Afflict as a keyword. It was there for one set. Not really a mainstay of the set. Oh, okay. Yep. That was us being a little bit overzealous there. Should have blocked. That's okay, it lets me get Standard a little bit faster. This draft has been interesting. An interesting failure. Okay, so deck that I'm going to be running out here. I've been playing around with builds of Eerie Ultimatum for a while. Super strong card. And trying to find out how to get the early game a little bit better. The build I was playing primarily before was using Birth of Meletis and some other land things, some other things that gained us a little bit of life, got us a little bit of advantage on the board. Switched over to the Yark's Fenlurker to be able to hit the hand a little bit more. 4 Treacherous Blessings before I was playing either 1 or 2. It is very, very key with the Yorion. And we have a couple Night Autumns. We have 1 there, we have 1 on the board. More Basilica Bell Haunts, and we're playing Doom Foretold now. Doom Foretold is actually kind of wonderful. I mean, it's been great with Yorion for a while. It's really good to get back off an ultimatum as just another piece. And we are a little bit heavier on the Elspeth Conquers death. Sideboard, Noxious Grasp does pretty much everything we want to. Main thing is to kill Vivian, or not Vivian. Main thing is to kill Nissa. Nissa is still one of the biggest threats. Yet again, my daily check-in of, has this card been banned yet? No. Okay, why not? Agonizing Remorse is for those kind of Sultai matchups. Doesn't do a ton against Teamer, but I still usually bring it in. Glass Casket for that early. This deck does have a lot of life gain. So, nice thing is you can run that life gain and outpace some of the more aggro decks if you need to. So let's see how this treats us today. Okay, this hand is not the best, but we do have a Kaya's Wrath, so if we're playing against an aggro deck, we'll be fine as long as we do a little bit of stabilizing. Lead off here, we're going to need double black. Doom Foretold is not great without the early stuff. Okay, so mono red. Speaking of. So Treacherous Blessing is fine in this case because we're probably going to be following it up with a way to kill it pretty quickly. Gain rid of it with Doom Foretold is pretty good. Ooh, Tin Street. So he's playing the super low to the ground version, where they are. Visionary is just fine. Throws up a little roadblock. Draws this card. Pretty much guaranteed next turn, whatever they play out. They are struggling on mana a little bit, it looks like. Oh, no, they got it. So that means they're not going to Embercleave this turn. They're probably going to play something else out? No? Okay. Predictions are wrong at the current moment. So that means we actually have a turn that we could play the Doom Foretold if I really wanted and play it a little bit slower, save the Kaya's Wrath. Yeah, I think I want to get a little bit more value. Doom Foretold. They get rid of one of those. Then I have to either get rid of the Visionary or... But this will kind of let me let me see what I want to do the next turn. Because we probably don't care about really sacking the Visionary anyway. Whereas then that allows me to follow up with the Kaya's Wrath, which then I'll be able to get the maximum value out of the Doom Foretold. Yep. Okay, so we are guaranteed Kaya's Wrath in here. If we're taking a little bit of damage, that's fine. We have some life gain in hand. Doom Foretold's going to gain us a little bit of life. Bell Haunt is pretty much perfect. That's what we want to be doing against them. Bell Haunt or Knight of Autumn. Let's go Bell Haunt. Ooh, that's actually kind of a little bit scary. Nice thing is he will never be able to cast that. So, we are going to play the Knight of Autumn here. We're going to give it some counters. Just because we want to be able to kill this Thorburn. Doom Foretold is pretty decent. So against mono red, bringing in Scavenging, bringing in Kaya's, bringing in the Glass Caskets. We can go down the ultimatums because they're just way too slow. The Vraskas are not wonderful either. All the rest of it can stay. Ah, so apparently we've hit the mono red hour. The Yark's Fenlurker is definitely a little bit weak in this matchup. Don't really have much better to bring in over it though. Ooh, hoo hoo, we like seeing that. Perfectly happy with an Embercleave going. Now this sucks because this Othakai is not going to give me as much life as I'd hoped. That is Senor Bolty. Wow, they are super low to the ground. So now I think we're gonna play this Yorion or bring it to the hand to set up for next turn, because I think we really need to bounce that Othakaya. Whereas the Treacherous Blessing, yes, it could draw us into something good. It is going to be dangerous in the long run. Wow, and we are just drawing land like crazy. But this is fine. We can get rid of this Annex, make sure it only gets the one counter on it. Okay, what are the chances that he has another Embercleave? That is the real question. Forces him to use it there. Yeah, I think that's still an okay block. We're going to lose the Yorion if that's the case, but... Yep, there it is. We get rid of the Knight, gets rid of a little bit of pump, which is pretty big, 6, 7, 8, 9, so he does just have lethal on us, unless we find something here. That's not quite what we were looking for, but that gains us some life, if nothing else. So we won't be at lethal anymore. Or... we could just do that. So, question is, what if he has another Embercleave? We have already seen one this game, two. I doubt he has another one, so we're going to go ahead and try and get rid of that. It's a better long-term solution to a problem that we have. Ooh, could have used that. So... fortunately, Eerie Ultimatum comeback. It's off the table here. So we really just need a Kaya's Wrath. This Treacherous Blessing is going to hopefully draw us into one. We can hope. Well, that's a bad start. Okay, so we drew into a Kai's Wrath, so at least there's that. The only problem being now, whatever we play kills us. So, that is GG. Run it back, we get to be on the play this game, which is just fine. Yeah, we'll keep this hand. This deck definitely gives you some real weird hands. Good draw land there. Question is, do we Fen Lurker or do we Charming Prince? I think we are going to Fen Lurker because he most likely is going to have a giant in hand. Then we get a follow-up with the Charming Prince next turn. Oh, he might have a lot of land too. Visionary is slightly awkward. So let's go ahead and... we need to do this now. We are going to need a second white and a second black. Let's go ahead and grab the second white for the time being. Getting rid of card doesn't really do much. Gaining life is not terrible, but we really need land. Well, glad we did that. Because we can play the Lawnmower Visionary out next turn or the Treacherous Blessing, but we'd rather have other choices. Okay, there's a land. Play the Treacherous Blessing, let him build up board state a little bit more. Or play the Visionary. Visionary sets us up for a decent Yorion? Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Second Kai's Wrath, that's not terrible. We don't want to play the Blessing because that turns on the Robber of the Rich. Here, we are going to go ahead and not block take 5. That way next turn, either we Yorion, get some value. Okay, we're taking more than 5. Well, mistakes were made. That's fine, though. So, question is, do we Yorion and then block a whole bunch? We're going to be getting rid of another card, drawing the card, gaining 3 life, and then follow up with the Kai's Wrath the next turn. No, we have to Kai's Wrath now, unfortunately. And we're hoping he doesn't have a Robber of the Rich in hand. Oh, or he could just do that. That's my bad. Yeah, we are not playing very well today. Lots of little play mistakes. Some days that just happens. Not your sharpest. Let's go ahead and run that one back. So we're playing against Luris. Okay. So Luris tells me I do not want to keep this hand because it's going to be another fairly fast one too. That hand, a little bit better. Gonna get rid of the Veraska here. We definitely want to be making our land drops. Elspeth Conquers Death is going to have a lot of targets here. Ooh. It's Lurrus with white. Okay, so this is the cycling deck. That's not what I thought this was going to be. Okay. I've not played against Boros Cycle for a little while. It can be very powerful, though. Zenith Flares will be something that go to our face and we have a hard time dealing with. So our goal is to be gaining life. Gaining lots and lots of life. Unfortunately, we can't really block this Flourishing Fox because it can guaranteed get to a 3-3. We could block the Stinger, but don't really need to yet. Alright, so our opponent is getting us fairly on the back foot here. Huh. That's the thing with these foxes, if they go turn 1, they get real big. And our opponent has had about as good of a start as they can have because Fox into Stinger is really good for that deck. Okay, double Stinger, so now we're taking double the damage. Yeah, we're in a little bit of trouble. We hope they brick and hit some land. No blocks here because we're going to be casting that Yorion. Fortunately, we are taking a lot of damage. Taking 10 damage total this turn. Oof, indeed. Problem is, I'm not really sure what our follow-up is here. So we really, really need the Kai's Wrath. And I don't think we have a good follow-up. Yeah. Not really looking good on this one. Hand is full. Most likely a bunch of cyclers. Almost guarantees to have that Zenith Flare, too. Yeah. We are way too far behind on that one. So that does everything we want to do in this matchup. That does everything we want to do. Kai's Wrath is good. Glass Cascade is good. Agonizing Remorse. It's tempting. I'm gonna think about that one. So Elspeth Conquers Death doesn't really do much of anything here, unfortunately. Vraska is okay. Fenlurkers, we do want to get cards out of their hand. Yeah, Remorse isn't gonna do much here. Knight of Bottoms, those can go. And we want to get rid of the Doom Fortolds. Alright, this hand seems fine. Scavenging Ooze is pretty good against them because you can definitely make their Zenith Flares a lot worse. The deck doesn't tend to run a lot of removal. Oh, and we got turn 1 again. So we're going to take 2 damage. Gonna see what he does with this Flourishing Fox here. If only he attacks for 1, then I'm not going to kill it. Yep. question is, do I take 2 here, or do we play it slow and play the Scavenging Ooze? Let's go ahead and play it slow. Life total is going to be at a premium this game, because those flares can just get huge. So our game plan is basically protect this ooze as well as we can and start eating as many creatures as possible. Make their cyclers disappear. They're definitely having a color issue. They're trying to find red still. Another fox is not red mana. Gonna run this Vraska out next turn, most likely. Does that do anything? Not really. We could play the Bellhaunt, and that would block fairly well. No, I'm gonna run the Vraska out because I want him to kill the Vraska anyway. So I think we're gonna eat this fox.
You should leave before I make you disappear.
And this will incentivize him to attack the Vraska too.
I was getting bored anyway.
Another Rescuer is a little bit annoying, but that's okay. Next turn, we're almost guaranteed going to be playing this Basilica Bellhaunt. Unless we draw a land, then we might go Visionary Visionary. Just because he is going very wide right now. And with having double Rescuers, he can go very wide for a while. But being able to play out the Bellhaunt and eat something with Scoos is not terrible either. Pretty much progresses our board state in the way we want it to be. Okay, another land. So we are one away. Eerie Ultimatum's not going to grab anything when we get it yet. So I have a feeling he's going to have a Solar Flare for our face as soon as he finds red mana. So gaining some life here, having good blockers for these Valiant Rescuers, it's kind of big. And another fox. Finding 3 foxes is pretty good. Alright, so he's attacking me trying to get a couple extra points, so that tells me he definitely has a flare in hand. Because he wants to get me down to around 11 or 12 life. No other creatures here. So sadly, we're not going to be gaining life anymore, but we are making his flares a little bit worse. Another Vraska. We could play out the Vraska. Kill the Rescuer this time and eat something. Yeah, I think that's okay. The Fox is going to get annoyingly big fairly quick. It's the one downside, but...
You're ready.
Because unfortunately, this Fox is probably going to be bigger than we can block.
I grow bored with this fight.
So our opponent does not seem to be drawing lands and bricking when it comes to cycling. That is one thing that can definitely happen with the cycling deck. And it's pretty obvious they're not drawing red land. Ooh, he just gave me another creature. Okay. I'm perfectly happy with that. Wow. So 3 Rescuers, 3 Flourishing Foxes. That is pretty good. Another creature. Okay. Keep giving me creatures. I'm fine with that. So as much as I want to block the Fox here, I don't think I'm going to. Just because it guarantees my ooze dies. If I had one more green mana up, I'd be perfectly happy doing that. This next turn we might be trying to find a Kaya's Wrath. Where did they go? One right there. And we're still well within range for a flare happening. We need a certain type. I'm gonna say let's get some black land. So we're looking for a Kai's Wrath or bust here. And we did not find it. Okay. Yeah, and unfortunately we're still just dead because we'll be able to block those two. We can only eat one thing here. Brings us up to 5. We're taking quite a bit more, so good game. Interesting to see that people are playing that deck again. It has been a while. This stream is turning into the Ophir stream, which is fine. We're getting it out of the way. And playing Abzan, you know, it's definitely not a tier 1 deck, probably not even a tier 2 deck, but it's fun. That's all I really care about. I want to be able to play ultimatums. If and when I want to be serious on the ladder, then I pick Sultai. I mean, there's no other choice. Yeah, Teamer Elementals is really good too, but Sultai is just so busted. They really should have banned Uro, because once rotation happens, Uro is still going to be the most played card. It's going to be a 4 of in so many different decks. But at least Nissa will be gone? Man, just imagine if we still had Oko in the format. Oko and Uro together. Best friends. That would be so dumb. Alright, so this could mean we're playing against the Prowess deck. We could be Teamer. Okay. Looks like it's Teamer Elementals. In that case... if we can get this early Liliana going on here, we're perfectly happy with that. Let's see if he wants to... oh, cycling. Yeah, if we can land an early Liliana, that's pretty good. Might have Mystical Dispute or Negate. Okay, they're playing mainboard Negate. That's a thing. So they might just be straight up Teamer Control. I wonder if they're doing any of the Flash package. Any Night Pack Ambushers or the like. Sharknado's always a good card. Interesting. Cycling another one. Surprised they didn't just try and stick one. So we're not really doing a whole lot here. Really want to be seeing the Treacherous or the Cavaliers. Cavalier would be super nice. Worst comes to worst, we can start Yori and bouncing things. Current moment, they're also set up for a giant Crassus. This is just fine because it gave us finally an excuse to play this Elspeth Conquer Staff. Eventually, in a couple turns, that'll turn into a Liliana, which we're perfectly happy with. And we can also start bouncing it with the Yorion, or blinking it. See if he's going to play it again. Nope. So in that case, we're just going to straight up draw 2 cards here. So we need card advantage. That's what we've been missing. Aether Gust. Sadly, we're going to decline that one. This turn's not anywhere near as good as I was hoping it'd be, but it's fine. Nope, nope. We need gas, not lands. Okay, Cavalier. Cavalier's real good. Liliana is also very good.
I'd just surrender right now. Stupid, but effective.
Wondering if he's playing Brazen Borrowers. On the plus side, we get a draw card here.
They were a lousy servant anyway.
So that's 3 Sharknadoes that are gone, which I'm perfectly happy with.
Back off!
I'd much rather them be in the grave than out on the board. Okay, let's see. We're gonna play an Uro and hold up counter magic, most likely. So we have main deck negates, we have main deck mysticals. So we're okay with just getting rid of that, I think. Yeah. We'll play that out. See what happens. Another negate, okay. So unfortunately, this Liliana is going to die a horrible death. We'll at least get a zombie out of it.
Rise and shine.
Yeah, this has not been going our way. Just one of those days.
How disappointing.
I agree, Liliana. I agree. Okay, Vraska, what does that do for us at the current moment? We can down ticket to get rid of the Uro. Wow, he has all the counter spells. Okay. Well, if we ever get an Eerie Ultimatum and he doesn't have one of his million counter spells, then I think we're okay. Niv Mizzet in the main? Okay. Yeah, this is a very different take on Teamer. Beacon Bolts. And he's going to cast one more spell here. Nope. Okay, so that is not going to do it. So what's our plan against Teamer Hard Control? Definitely bringing in those. Scavenging Oozes. Elspeth Conquers Death. Noxious Grasp. Okay. So Grasp takes care of Titans. Did we see anything else? We didn't see anything else. I'm assuming there's probably some Planeswalkers in there. There's a good chance there's a Nissa. There's a very good chance there's a Tameo. We know these Oath of Kais are coming out. Whoa, that was some weird graphical effect going on there. We know for a fact these Oath of Kais are going out. What is going on with that? Weird. Fen Lurkers are probably just fine for ripping their hand. We need to lose 4 cards. Doom Foretold is not where I want to be right now. Play it that way. Making me rethink life choices. But now I have a little bit better idea of what I'm working with here. So we're just going to eat their hand in these first couple turns. Charming Prince, bounce the Fenlurker. Just try and throw them off as much as possible. See if we get a Scorching Dragonfire here. Nope. That's good for us then. So we don't have anything that we're going to get any advantage from, but we're going to run this Urian out. It's a big body. If nothing else, we can start putting some pressure on, and if they play a Planeswalker, we can just attack right at it. Ooh. Gargaroth. Well, that is going to earn an Elspeth Conquers Death. Well, we had just enough disruption there to make our opponent scoop. Question is, what do we want to go? I'm going to get rid of these two, add 2 of these in. Cavalier, I really like, but it is expensive. I'm going to cut a Visionary. We need to keep the Treacherous Blessings. Want one more Noxious Grasp. Just because they've shown us they are going to be sideboarding into big creatures. I need ways to deal with those. Thankfully, we have quite a few ways. The card that I really want to find some space in here for, that I was working in my other version of Abzan, was the Mythos. Just because being able to snipe Planeswalkers with it is pretty good. You're usually going to be able to pay the other mana cost for it. Noxious Grasp does kill a lot of the things I want to kill, but not quite enough. Alright, time to start eating their hand. That is a Narset that's going, because we can't deal with that currently.
This was overwhelming.
Well, that is unfortunate. We are going to be stalling on land here. It's going to cycle the Sharknado.
Just the trick for this.
Okay, we found some land. We are going to be running both these at the Nissa, basically forcing him to choose.
Interesting technique.
Well, we've gotten through 3 counterspells already. Unfortunately, he is going to play the Uro here. We're going to have to kill with the Noxious Grasp. Is he going to... Yep.
Hone your prowess.
Another negate. Okay. Well, he's probably going to be greedy. Yep.
I was not prepared for this.
Unfortunately, he is able to negate this. So we might as well make it during his turn. Yeah, we just haven't been drawn land. Ugh. There's the negate, and there is the GG. Well, things have not been working out wonderfully today. That's okay. It happens. I think we're going to end up calling it there. Feel free, if you like what I'm doing, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that follow. You can find me over on Twitter. You can find me over on YouTube. You can find me here on Twitch. Also, my good friends over at Epic Gaming, epicgamingpdx.com. Epic Gaming is a card and event space located down in Portland, Oregon. A lot of fun stuff that's been going on there, especially pre-COVID days. We had a whole bunch of large tournaments going on, fighting games, Magic, Final Fantasy TCG, lots of Smash Brothers. Still doing net play on Sundays at Epic, so if you want to go ahead and join for Smash Brothers Melee net play, it's the longest running Smash event on the West Coast. There are some killers who show up to it. Otherwise, that is going to do it for the day. Thanks for joining us here, and I will see you next time.